Hey Nerf Herders, I'm Addy Thomas.
I am Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View News. We've got a little bit of news and we've got some TV episode reviews coming up in just a little bit. Just be sure to go to our website, certainpov.com, to check out all of our podcasts, and all of our social media is there as well, certainpov.com. Let's get right to it. So on the heels of the news that Marvel Studios has moved Avengers Infinity War up by a week in North America, we have another couple of announcements on dates from Disney. The live-action Mulan movie has been pushed back from its original release date of November 2nd, 2018, all the way to March 27, 2020. The studio has also moved an untitled Marvel film to July 31st, 2020 from a previous date of August 7th, and has handed out dates for 6 other untitled Marvel movies: May 7th of 2021, July 30th of 2021, and November 5th of 2021, and then 3 in 2022 in February, May, and July.
All right.
It's very difficult to predict what these projects could be, given how vastly different the MCU landscape is expected to be following the events of Infinity War and Avengers 4, but there are almost certainly a couple sequels in there at least.
Well, yeah, I would expect some sequels coming out of this next phase going into... I think they're going to try and recreate what they've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do a 3-phase overarching thing.
Right. I'm assuming Guardians 3 is going to be somewhere in the mix.
Panther
either there
2.
or earlier, yeah.
Panther 2. Maybe an Ant-Man 3.
Right.
Strange. Another Strange
For sure,
movie.
Strange.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And who knows? Miss Marvel. We may get a couple of hers, and we may start getting Fantastic Four. We may start getting X-Men.
Right.
We may start. Who knows what else is going to roll out with that? Nova Corps. Yeah. So who knows? It's all good news, man.
Yeah.
It is all good news.
Totally.
What's the weirdest hero you think we'll get? What's the most obscure hero that you think we'll get?
Quasar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Alpha Team.
Oh, Alpha Team's not getting it. They'll get a TV show. I can see that
I'll
happening.
get it on Hulu.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to run away
over
with
to Alpha Team. Yeah.
They're going to cross the border up to Canada.
So back in October 2016, it was confirmed that AT&T was moving forward with purchasing Time Warner for $85 billion, but the deal has faced opposition from none other than the U.S. Department of Justice, which sued to block the deal on grounds that anti-competitive laws were being broken and a monopoly was going to be formed. A trial to decide whether or not the deal would be allowed to proceed actually begins on March 19th. The Wrap's recent report on the current state of Warner Brothers' DC Films universe ends with, if the merger fails, an individual close to the company told the Wrap that Time Warner would likely be broken into parts and sold separately, as Warner Brothers, HBO, and Turner, leaving the fate of DC Comics a bit up in the air. And if such an event actually unfolds and Time Warner begins selling its assets separately, there's a chance that Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment may end up in separate homes.
How do you feel? But there's just no good news for DC at any point in time in recent years when it comes to their film universe.
That's the most optimistic news I've heard.
And this is like, hey, things are going to be in flux.
Yeah.
Things may, you may just get spun off and on out to yourself. Who knows what's going to happen to you?
Well, it's funny because up until now, Fox is the one that I would say would be the better home. Because, granted, there was a lot of bad Fox movies, don't get me wrong. But I'd rather Fox have it than Sony. But obviously Fox is going into Disney now.
So that can't happen.
Yeah, Universal. Universal doesn't really make a whole lot of play in the superhero world.
I read somewhere online, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
I read somewhere online that a bunch of chicks bought Miramax. Okay. No, I'm sorry, I bought the Weinstein Company.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they just spin it off into there.
DreamWorks might be an interesting.
DreamWorks, interesting.
DreamWorks is still independent. Lucasfilm obviously bought out by Disney, but Spielberg is still there.
Out
DreamWorks.
there. Do they have the cash though to purchase that?
That's the question. Yeah.
That's the problem, is that it takes a lot of money to grab those IPs.
Right.
Forget the legal wrangling.
Yeah.
Just the cost alone makes it prohibitive. Like you're not going to get it can't just stand on its own. It's got to have a fairly large company with cash on hand. Now I heard a little while ago, remember Apple was talking about getting involved in content creation.
Right.
Maybe they pick up some of these products.
I can see that. Yeah.
And start, running it all through iTunes or whatever streaming service they want to create.
They just got to partner up with somebody. Like they
don't even have to partner up with. They have more money than we do as a country.
Well, that is true. But I mean, like if they want to make a movie, like they could partner up with somebody
theoretically
has the expertise to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they'd end up just building out a studio.
Right.
Is what they would do. Like they wouldn't subcontract it out. They'll just start hiring people. They've got enough cash on hand to do it.
True.
That was allegedly their plan. Was they were going to become a full-fledged studio.
Stuff.
Yeah. Apple Studios.
Yeah. I could see it. I wouldn't. I'd be down.
Apple's in DC.
Yeah.
They're both douchey. It works for me.
Let's move on. So speaking of TV Line about S.H.I.E.L.D.'s future at an event celebrating the show's upcoming 100th episode, Jed Whedon and Maurissa Tancharoen said that the end of Season 5 is currently being written, but the plan is to make sure the episode could just as easily serve as a fitting conclusion to S.H.I.E.L.D. altogether, just in case the plug ends up being pulled on Coulson and Friends. Here's Whedon's take. Yes, we're ready for this is the end. We're definitely going to make it rewarding either way. We can certainly pivot, and there are certain things that we're putting in that at the last minute could be adjusted. But we know at the end we're not moving off that mark. We're going to do what we're planning to do, and I think that'll be thrilling either way.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up the show. I mean, watching this season, and I'm enjoying this season.
I am too, yeah.
But they're really,
it's run its course.
Yeah, they're pulling the taffy pretty thin at this point with some of these characters.
Yeah.
So it's okay to wrap it up.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that.
Well, especially based on the developments from this last episode.
Right.
It kind of works that way. So.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that episode in just a minute. Let's get into TV reviews right now. We're going to save Voltron for next week. There's only 6 episodes, but there was a lot of TV this weekend. There's been a lot of WoW.
There's been a lot of WoW, and my family, I had some crazy kids issues all weekend long that kept me away from the TV as much as I wanted to be.
So we'll push Voltron to next week, and maybe we can even aim for The Tick as well to be done next week. We'll see.
I started to watch The Tick, and then
I haven't yet. So.
I got 8 seconds into it.
Yeah,
and then the screaming started, and that was as far as I got.
Yeah.
It was awful this weekend for TV for me. So let's talk about what we did see.
So we did. I'm assuming you caught up on the CW TV universe.
Yep.
So let's start. So I'll start with Arrow actually.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
I watched Arrow today. You know what? It was interesting because it was sort of like Arrow Civil War, and it actually worked in some interesting ways. But only when everything finally just came together and the fight actually happened. The fight felt earned, and the fights felt right, and it felt like there was real consequence to it, which is the kind of thing you want for something like that. But man, the build up to get there.
A lot of love triangles.
No love triangles.
Oh.
But that doesn't matter. It
still wasn't good.
It was still really painful because it's hard for me to care about this really large cast of characters. And they've really it's you know what I feel like this would have been a great 3rd or 4th season. Actually, yeah, maybe a 4th season to Arrow. It's just that they went so far off the rails for a while that it's really hard to care about a lot of these characters just because you know that they've been through some crazy stuff already. That now them getting back a little bit more grounded seems underwhelming. At times,
interesting.
You know?
They went too big too quick, and that's kind of been my concern a little bit about all the CW shows is they go so big so quick.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep that pace. It's hard to keep those stakes. It's hard to keep that interest level.
Yeah. Which is funny because in some ways that works all right for the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow just because of the concept already. But I think the problem with the Flash has been they've been repetitive with their villains.
Yeah.
You know? So Arrow, though, they definitely suffered from going too big too quickly. So, let's move on to the Flash.
Okay.
I like this episode. I liked the new meta and sort of the
you like a really bad Southern draw.
Whatever.
I mean, that was atrocious.
It was.
I guarantee you that chick's British. She's never been to Alabama.
I thought she was still fun.
She was fun.
Yeah, so
she was fun.
She was entertaining to watch. So
it was heartbreaking to see her fate in front of Ralph.
I think that was the big moment.
That's been great. Like you've had that like two in a row now.
Yeah.
For the first one was with Barry and the Bad Luck Girl.
Yeah.
And now this girl and for Ralph. Like it's been interesting to see how he's pulling that rug out from each person. I wonder if he's going to do it to Cisco's girlfriend.
Yeah, I could see Cisco's girlfriend being one of the next ones on the chopping block. I could see them, like, this is a good opportunity to pare down.
To thin the herd?
Yeah, deflash a little bit, give some consequence.
You know what I would love? Although it would be a surprise because I feel like they're going to use her as Joe
West.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be great if they killed her and the baby.
Oh, dark, and that's exactly the reason I don't think that's going to happen.
No, yeah, it's so dark.
I think she's going to end up being sort of something to help.
She's going to be because she's going to be able to read the thinker's mind and figure out what to do. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's painfully obvious as the season's going on. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
But it would be so great if they just swerved and we're like, nope, she's done.
Right.
Check, please. Deal with that tragedy.
Yeah, I could see them. I could see us losing some bigger characters though. I could see them. I could see losing Joe West might happen sooner rather than later. I don't want it because I think he is one of them.
I don't think you can get rid of him because I think he's so integral to that show.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope not because I think I feel the same way about that. But, he is a huge mentor for Barry. So, you can see that happening. But, I mean, how many mentors has Barry had at this point?
All of them.
Show? Yeah, exactly.
He's had all of them.
So, let's move on to Legends of Tomorrow.
Fun.
Pirates.
Always fun. Always fun. Kind of a throwaway episode in a lot of ways.
That's how I kind of felt.
But a fun throwaway episode nonetheless. I mean,
there were some cool moments along the way. But
anytime you have Mick, like, being the boss.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy on that show.
Yeah.
Like, I just need more Mick.
Well, the date thing was sort of like a weird, like, every time they cut to that, I was like, can we please, like, I want to get back to the story.
Like, normally I'm into two hot chicks getting it on.
Right.
This time I'm completely uninterested. Yes. Completely uninterested in that story.
I was also surprised that I didn't find it.
I was like, I should be feeling something. No, nothing but boredom. Nothing but boredom. Yeah.
So then let's move on. Black Lightning.
This show is so good.
Yeah.
This show is so good. Like, it's so well written, and it's already so much better developed than all of the other CW shows combined.
By far.
It's brilliant. Like, the bad guy, the albino Tobias, his lines are so great.
Yeah.
Are so great. I mean, like, his
the white guy comment.
His racism, like, it's just like this biting, sarcastic racism for what's happening around him and what he's doing. Is fantastic. Like, it's great writing, it's great commentary.
Yeah,
and it makes that character come to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really does.
I like that we got a little bit more insight into what he's doing, manipulating the ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
Of
I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah,
and what they do to him and he's clearly going to get some powers.
Oh yeah. Then we also have Gamby. There's a lot of mystery.
He's got some darkness in Gamby, man.
Right?
Never trust older Italian guys. That's a lesson learned here.
And then, of course, we had some family discipline.
So check this out. So Jenny was watching this with me. This is the first episode she's watched.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the first episode she watched. She has two comments about this show. She goes, how does nobody recognize Black Lightning? Like, he's got the dumbest mask ever. Like, he's so clearly identifiable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, see, he's got like this lightning effect over his face that they don't show. Just show it on the television, man. Just one time so I can show Jenny, like, this is what people see.
Because the daughter should have been able to point it. Like, I can see that the wig for the daughter
was just enough. Yeah. You go, she's not like, who is this blonde chick? I'm coming in ready to fight. Yeah. Right. Like, I get that. But that was her second comment of like, how do they not know each other?
Yeah.
Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah. Like, that was was a very well lit room.
Yeah.
Like they should have been able to be like, oh,
wait a minute, you look familiar. No, you look familiar.
Or like their voices.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he has the electronic. He's got the Batman electronic effect going on when he talks. But she
doesn't. She's super low budget right now,
and it's great. She looks like a 1970s comic
she looks
book hero.
like she wants to be Dazzler. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to them now, like the father and the father and daughter duo.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see like what happens with the younger daughter.
Yeah,
I like that character.
Yeah,
she's fun. So
yeah, they've given a lot of weight to a lot of the characters. I don't feel like it's not that every storyline is always interesting, but
you know what I need though. What I do need less of.
Yeah,
I need less of the mom like being upset about all this.
Yeah,
I just need her to get. I just need her to get on board.
Over it by now.
Yeah, I just need her to get on board. I get it, lady. You got reservations.
Yeah.
Either shit or get out of the pool. One or the other.
Let's move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we have
no high fives for this one.
What?
No,
right. Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Inside joke. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that was a little unexpected.
I was completely shocked by that.
Yeah,
completely taken back.
I didn't expect arms to get cut off.
No, and to see the blood and the gore of it either was
yeah.
shocking to me.
Yeah, I kind of thought like them being back in the present timeline, like that kind of thing probably wouldn't happen. But
nope.
That was a nice shocker to see what the stakes of what they're dealing with.
Yeah, with Yo-Yo. Yeah, and how Yo-Yo ends up where she is in the future.
Right.
It was cool. It was a cool callback.
I'm interested to see what. I don't even know what her name is, but whoever they're working against.
Oh, the general chick?
Yeah, the general. And her daughter.
Her daughter?
Yeah,
her quote-unquote daughter who's living in a base.
Yeah.
Guarded up.
This is a really interesting development. Like, does this connect back to something we've already seen? Is this totally a new player in the game?
Plus, she's, like, getting a team together and getting Absorbing Man.
Right. So I do feel like we're going to see some familiar faces and maybe some threads that we never saw the end to might come back around.
Yeah, with the dark matter guy.
Yeah.
Like I think like there's gonna be a lot of callbacks to like season 1 and 2 villains when they were doing like villain of the week.
Right, because we got Gravitron reference back in before they made the time jump.
Yes.
Again. So
yes.
Yeah, I could see some of this like coming back around.
Yeah, like an Axis of Evil kind of thing going on.
I at least I sure hope so, especially based on the story we talked about earlier, that this will be a fitting end to the story if they need it.
So, and here's what's interesting, because we were kind of wrong, I guess maybe, because it's clear like they're doing a Kree storyline at this point, that this is what calls the Kree to them. Yeah. So, is this going to tie into Infinity War?
I feel like it'll still hand off in some ways. Maybe in the same way that Age of Ultron did, where it'll be like they've resolved whatever they had to on their own, but there'll be enough of some sort of handoff. Or maybe we'll just see like Portal coming down in New York City, like, and
references to it for the last several episodes of the season.
Yeah, maybe even final moment is like Thanos arrives. Not that we'll see Thanos on the episode, but we'll know that it's
boots are on the ground.
Yeah. So
maybe.
Yeah, I still kind of feel like that extinction level event is Thanos. And there's nothing they can do to stop it, but maybe they are stopping something else. I don't know. It's tough because like shattering the world, like just seems like not Quake, but a very Thanos type thing to do, right?
It does seem like it lends itself to Thanos, but I wouldn't put him past it, like trying to.
The timing is also kind of odd for two different things that could do that to happen at the same time. You know?
But again, TV's not playing nice with movies anymore.
That's true. So
it's not all connected. So there's a good chance it's not connected, even though I feel like it really should be.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of connected, just not like as connected as we like it to.
I like to think that it's more like an alternate universe. Like
well,
like the movies
are.
I would at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like the movies are 616 and this and the TV universe is something else.
I don't know if I go that far. I think like a lot of the things that they've created can exist in that world. It's just they aren't sort of the A-listers that the movies are.
Yeah, well, most definitely that's why they're TV shows, but
right.
I don't feel like it ties in together much anymore.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel like it used to me. Especially this season.
That's true. Compared to some of the like those first.
They were really trying hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to The Walking Dead. We had the second episode of this back half.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention at all. I wanted to. And even Jenny was sitting next to me and she's like, what the hell's happening in this episode? Who is that?
I was totally like...
there was moments that I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. Like the Jadis thing.
Yeah.
When what's his name goes to the heapsters and then just kills them all.
Well, I was kind of happy to see the end.
I hate the heapsters.
I was glad it was over. So I was happy for that, but I was really happy with the way it happened too. Like you're starting to see some dissension within Negan's ranks.
And you're starting to see the value of Negan.
Yes,
which I think is good.
Well, and what I liked is how it built up to that conversation between Negan and Rick at the end.
Yeah,
where Negan tells him
this is your fault.
Yeah, Carl's dead, and they both have that argument. I thought it was a great argument because like in that moment I felt like wow, that is Negan is what Rick would be is if you
unchecked.
Let him, if you just let him keep on going down this path because he genuinely feels he's saving people and he has to be this extreme to do it. And Rick is totally headed down that path unless he sort of listens to Carl's advice. And it was just,
He hasn't read that letter yet.
Yeah.
He will, and that'll change him, and then he'll be nice.
Yeah, because, I mean, right now he's still promising to kill Negan.
Yeah, and he'll hug it out. They'll hug it out. They'll bro hug it out. And
I'm excited to see how this...
Probably because... Denai is doing so well in movies and her other projects.
They'll write her off?
Yeah, and then probably they'll just be Negan and Rick raise little ass kicker.
You can see them making breakfast together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they've already done it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go so far as them writing off Denai Guerrera yet. But I mean, I guess that's it's definitely a possibility.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
They just killed Carl. They can kill anybody on this show at this point.
That's true. I mean, I still think Daryl is more likely than.
There'll be riots.
I think that time has passed.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, there's still plenty of wet panties out there every time he shows up.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so let's move on. We got Star Wars Rebels. So obviously, tonight when we're recording this episode, we're going to actually have the finale air. So we're sort of almost a week behind with us talking about Rebels. We had a huge development for the Star Wars universe on last week's Rebels.
Unbelievable. They are really expanding. It was gorgeous. Amazing episode. Just the way it was directed, edited, and put together. The sound design on this episode is outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. As two audio nerds.
Yeah.
I was listening to it and watching it, quote, and I was just like, oh my God, Addy's totally nerding out right now.
Like crazy. I heard, a couple of the standout voices. Well, we'll get to that in a second, but... one, we had the Mortis connection back from Clone Wars with the Mortis gods. We had an appearance by Palpatine via hologram and sort of
force powers.
Yeah, exactly. And we had Ezra enter into, and of course, if this is a huge development for the Star Wars universe, because we have time travel introduced to the Star Wars universe. But what I really like is how they've kind of checked some of the power of this, that it's not simply a force power, but that it is an actual location with limited points of entry.
Yeah.
Right now we know of one point of entry that has now been destroyed by the end of this episode. So I like that kind of limitation to it. But the other big development, well, a couple things. We had like this really cool sort of like them like putting the puzzle pieces together to try to figure out and interpret this painting on a wall that suddenly becomes animated, and this great 2D animation. Like seriously, they need to do some more. I love the 3D animation style, but I wouldn't mind.
I'd be okay
2D.
with a 2D show. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it means, more episodes.
Quicker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we got something cool there. It opens up this world between worlds that Ezra goes into, and we hear all these quotes from across the Star Wars universe. We hear all this stuff from Rebels, we hear all this stuff from Clone Wars, and we hear some stuff from all the feature movies. In fact, like there was Sharon Imwe with "I'm One with the Force" and the Force. We heard Jin in there. We heard some Rey. We heard some Kylo Ren.
Some Yoda.
Yeah, a lot of Yoda Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
There's a little Qui-Gon.
Yep.
There was
Anakin.
Yes, Anakin, Ahsoka, Kanan. Am I missing? I said Maz Kanata.
No, yeah, you're right. There was Maz. Yep.
What was really cool is I found, just before you came over to record, there's a YouTube video that finds all the source material and shows them up.
Puts them
up. Wow. It's
so
such a cool video. It's
so
totally
cool.
worth. We might have to post a link to that one just because
that's great.
It's so cool kind of seeing the different places they pulled from, and the choice of the quotes are also very fascinating.
Luminous beings are we, baby.
Oh yeah, definitely. High on the mystical side of the Force, especially because this is a big exploration of the cosmic side of the Force. Really cool thing before we even get to some of the bigger moments, because there's a lot of big moments in this episode. But what was really cool was watching an interview with Filoni afterwards, and he was talking about how this temple on Lothal has always had that, and we've always seen aspects of it, but the characters have been limited in what they could see of the Force, that they saw parts of it. Because we saw, them kind of traveling through time at different times, time and space, with the conversation Ezra has with Yoda, the conversation Kanan has with the Inquisitor, who was a former Temple guard. All sorts of moments, but then it was just the limitations they had. Now that they've reached, they've matured in their powers, or Ezra's matured in the control of his powers, he's able to see it for what it is, or at least maybe it's even greater than this.
Greater than that, but this is what he's been able to experience thus far.
And
that's cool.
It also shows how long Filoni has been planting the seeds for this.
Filoni has been playing the long game on this show from day one. It's brilliant.
And it's been 2 years, 2 seasons in particular, for a big
Can we get to that?
Yeah.
Can we finally
Ahsoka lives.
Finally.
She
God
actually
damn
lives.
it.
I saw, it was funny, I was talking to our friend David Adams, and he told me that, it was just going to be a vision of that. He didn't expect we'd see the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ezra interferes and pulls her out of time before Vader can kill her.
Yeah.
And that's how she survives. And it is actually her who's going into the Sith Temple on Malachor at the end. And they promise that they'll meet up again. So
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Here's the question. Do you think Ahsoka's showing up in the finale?
Yeah. Most definitely.
You think she's going to come in and kind of save the day type of thing? Or at least
she's kind of a major contributing factor, because you just lost Kanan, so you lost a major Jedi player.
Do you think we see... I think we've talked about it. I don't think we're necessarily going to see anyone else die. Not necessarily.
Not a major player.
Not an A-lister.
Maybe one of the clones or something. A couple of the clones or something.
Clones, Hondo.
Maybe.
Probably might go,
You're not going to lose Ezra. You're not going to lose any more of the Rebels crew.
Yeah, at this point. Do you think we lose Ahsoka? I feel like that's a lot to come back.
That's a dick move. That's a dick move to bring her back just to kill her the next week.
Yeah.
It's a dick move, and I wouldn't put it past Filoni.
So here's the big thing, because the conversation around Rebels from the beginning has revolved a lot around one Yoda quote about their... Luke is the last of the Jedi type deal.
Yes.
And that there isn't another other than Leia.
Right.
So the assumption across the board has been Kanan and Ezra can't be alive.
Right.
And sort of the same deal even with Ahsoka. That none of them can be alive.
Well, what if we're misinterpreting the quote? What if we're misinterpreting the quote when he says that there's nobody else who can do this?
Yeah.
He's saying there's nobody else who's going to be able to pull that good out of Vader.
Well, see, I disagree with that because I don't feel Yoda was ever like, oh yeah, someone's gonna pull the good out of Vader. Like I do feel like
strong enough with the Force. You think it's you mean it's you're assuming it means there's no other Jedi, there's no other Force users who are Jedi who can do this. What if that's just what it is? Because he's already seen Ahsoka lose to.
And that's what I think it is. Because Ahsoka, I don't think it has the capability to beat Anakin. Ezra and Kanan
Definitely
for sure
don't.
never did.
Yeah.
They never were a real match against Vader, which we saw already.
Yeah, they barely could handle themselves against the Seventh Sister. Yeah,
any of the Inquisitors. For that matter. Yeah. So that being said, what do you think? We talked about this a little bit last week, or after we saw the episode, not in time to record, but. What do you think could be what is your thoughts about Ezra's fate at the end of the series?
I think you're probably onto something where he decides he's going to be like the protector of Lothal.
Yeah.
And stay on Lothal, stay at that temple, rebuild that temple, whatever.
Yeah.
And just kind of like be that guy on that temple.
Yeah. And stick to rebuilding Lothal. Like
that's
he's found that this is the corner of my
that's his
universe.
passion has been from day one in this show. It doesn't make sense for him to all of a sudden be like, and I'm going across the galaxy now.
Right, or I'm going to continue, or even like it would make sense for him to continue fighting for the Rebel Alliance, but at the same time,
at Lothal,
yeah, or like this is home. Like so I like the idea of like, do you think Ezra and Ahsoka could still be around by the time we get to, the present day, like the current movies?
Oh, all the way up to like Rey's time line. Ezra, I mean, it's certainly technically possible.
Yeah. Just remember, Admiral Akbar was a general during the Clone Wars.
It's true. I mean, it is only like 30, 40 years, right? Like, so Ezra would be older because he's a human, but he's only in his 20s at this point, if that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he absolutely could be alive.
Yeah,
and I have
still call them kids, but
they're clearly not kids anymore.
Teenagers at the very least, if not
late teenagers.
20s. Yeah.
Late teenagers.
Yeah.
Because I always got the feeling like he was like 15, 16.
When they first came across, I kind of felt that way too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, absolutely. I mean, theoretically, they could be alive. And would they be involved, though, in the rebellion still at that point?
Obviously, Hera is.
Hera is.
We don't know where Hera is by the time of The Last Jedi.
Right. For The Last Jedi, we don't know if she is.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. The rumors of what the next animated series is that it may be entitled Resistance. So the question is, where does that fall in the timeline? Is that in between Last Jedi and Episode 9? Is this in the lead up to The Force Awakens? What characters could we see? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some carryover. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Hera, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we haven't seen the end of Hera.
Like General Hera or something like that.
Yeah.
That could totally be like she's just ranked up and she's still continuing that fight.
Right. My hope is that, like, we've talked about we want the Adventures of Luke Skywalker type of deal.
Yeah.
But I could see them doing something a little bit closer to Clone Wars to kind of show what the picture is, because that's been one complaint. People are kind of unsure what the political picture of the Republic and the First Order is. We could get something that kind of shows that explains,
colors in that a little bit,
out, the way that Clone Wars did for the prequels.
Yeah. I think that would be good. I mean, that makes sense. I think they're doing a lot of that. Like, I was on a forum today, and they were talking about that there's a new Snoke book coming out that's going to like kind of reveal his past and all that stuff. And there was a lot of butthurt fanboys, on there, like, why bother now? He's already, he's dead. Like, what's the point? And he sucked. Okay, did you feel that way about Palpatine?
Right.
When that happened in Jedi? No, shut up. So that seems to be their MO. They're kind of doing the Blizzard model of like, we're going to put really big moments in our game. But then if you really kind of want to see like it all fleshed out, you gotta read the books. Yeah. Or read the comic books or watch the TV show, and like we're going to kind of color it in because they have the ability, like it makes sense. They have the time and the space then to color that stuff in that you just don't have that time and capability to do quite as easily in a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'd
be okay. I'm a little disappointed that it wouldn't be a Luke. Like I really, really want a Luke Skywalker adventure series.
And to be honest, it still could be because building the picture of what, like, we don't know how Resistance. Far back, like what exactly where between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens they could pick, and you can still be building. Like we already know, Snoke is developing a hold on Kylo Ren while Luke is training him. So like we could still see all of that. Like
I don't think we'll get those characters quite as much.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a whole new set of characters like they did with Rebels. You don't think
we'll see them in a similar role that we saw Ahsoka in Rebels?
Maybe like you might have them as recurring roles, but the story isn't going to center around those characters.
I totally agree with.
Whereas I kind of want to have a Luke centered story.
Yeah, I could see a Luke-centered story, but appearances from these other characters. So
we'll see. We'll see whatever we get. I'm going to be happy
Luke
with.
Could travel to Lothal to figure as he's figuring out like what is
to hit that temple and run into Ezra and
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we will see what happens on the big finale, the series finale for Rebels. I am so excited to watch that first thing tomorrow morning. So we will be sure to get you our review of that as soon as possible. I'm excited to do a little bit of a retrospective on Rebels in general.
We should get David on for that.
I think we might do that. So,
that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So don't forget to check out what we're doing on social media. In fact, we'll share that video that we mentioned about sort of the soundscape of the world between the worlds. All of that is going to be on our website, certainpov.com. You can check out all of our social media there. All of our other podcasts are there, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my nerf herders.